What's going on, guys? We're back here for another episode of the Splash Bros podcast, your number one source for all your health and fitness needs and questions. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hey, Josh, how's it going?
Good. Excited to be back again this week. This week we have Zach from Supplement King Wolfville on the show. He's also a coach at APT, Acadia Performance Training, and he's also had a pretty big career at Acadia with his football and coached here as well. How you doing, Zach?
Good, guys. Good to be on here.
We're happy to finally have you on here. This has
been a long process.
In the works.
Well, you guys first kind of threw it at me last week, so I don't think
we've talked about it for a while.
But yeah, anyways, we've talked about happy to be here, happy to be on. I'm glad I can chat with you guys on a screen in an empty room.
Yeah,
very perfect. Can you start by your life in sports, how you began, and just your overall journey before becoming a coach?
Okay. Where do we start? So grew up in Halifax. Came to Acadia when I was 18. Enrolled in the business program at Acadia. Both my parents went to Acadia. And then football was an option when I was playing in high school. I played hockey and football and did a little bit of track in high school, and pretty much broke my ankle in my last year playing in about the summer before I was about to graduate or going into my grade 12 year, and made it back for football season, and couldn't get back for hockey. Hockey, I had a tryout with the St. John Sea Dogs. So I broke my ankle, so I couldn't go to camp. So football was my second option. So, and it worked out pretty well. So it worked out, and fortunately got to go to Acadia and play some ball, play 4 or 5 years. And I wasn't really looking at, when I came out, I was looking at a couple options of going possibly out west. I have family in Calgary, and a couple of guys from Calgary that used to be around here or coaching around here. So they used to recruit here a little bit. So I was kind of between those two. And then at the end of the day, it was like, talk to my parents, and it's like, nah, you're staying near home. That's the way it goes. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I probably should do that. So yeah, I always did that. Did 5 years at Acadia. Took my time, definitely. Did my first year in business, and then did the next 4 in kinesiology. So, and ended up finishing with a kin degree. Played 5 years of football, won a couple AUS championships in there, and came out with a degree. After that, I went to Ottawa. I moved to Ottawa shortly after graduating in May of 2015, and then moved to Ottawa, did a 1-year program at Algonquin in sport business management, and then worked a couple years after that in strength conditioning. I was a rep for Muscle Milk, or kind of the Ottawa person, or the Ottawa region for Muscle Milk, and then I moved furniture some weekends. So it was fun. Had a couple years doing that, and just kind of lived and made some money, and worked out for a couple CFL teams in there too. It's when you're in Ontario, and I can dive into that stuff later, and football and opportunities there. But when you're living in Ontario, you're a lot more accessible to teams. So got in a couple workouts or a couple tryouts, and I decided to come back to Wolfville, come back to Acadia, work, and then did the education and graduated from that last year, and I've been just working ever since. So I've just flip-flopped between coaching gigs. Coached at Acadia in 2017 when I was in school, and then flipped back to APT, and then went to Mount A last year, and now I'm back at Acadia. So I'm pretty much just a suitcase traveling around here.
Nice. But, you think Halifax is ever going to get a CFL team?
I think they will. I don't think it's going to. I think COVID has completely jacked that up. I think Halifax is eventually going to get a CFL team.
Yeah, I'm really hoping so.
It seems like the ownership group has enough money and backing in the proposed stadium plan. I think makes sense, like to make it community based. So they'll get some money from the government here, from the province, which I think it'll happen at the end of the day. There's enough demand here for it in Atlantic Canada, and especially in Halifax, your density and your market. We can dive into that later. I learned a lot about that during taking sport business management at Algonquin, like the economics of sport, and we dove into the Halifax quite a bit of the CFL expansion.
Very, very cool. Well, now you're here, Wolfville, working full-time here. Can you dive into a little bit more about the supplement stuff and working at Supplement King?
Sure. So that started September 2018 is when we first opened that up. Mm-hmm. That was originally my father's idea. Yep. We talked about that probably since back 2014, 2015. My dad was big on, he wanted to own something retail in Wolfville. We talked about restaurant business and just talked about like just different retail, pretty much different retail ideas. But we pretty much, and he knew Roger King, be a client of his. So anyways, we talked to Roger one day and pretty much got connected with him through my dad's business. And yeah, he's like, Zach, let's go in on this together. So it was started by my dad's idea. And what I do is pretty much operate things on the inside, and he works a little bit on the outside. It's pretty much the split between us two. And then, yeah, we finally pulled the trigger on it in September 2018. I was back here. I was in school, but I had time to manage and work it and get that thing rolling. And anyways, it's gone really well. We have amazing community support. We got amazing support from our athletes, and like I said, the local community. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun working in retail, something I haven't done before, just the odd job growing up in high school, and then kind of taking a lead on it, and managing that from the inside. So it's been really fun to get into, and yeah, it's still a work in progress of rebounding from COVID.
I was going to say, how has that been with COVID?
Honestly, it's been pretty good. We dropped off a little bit in April, May, but honestly, the nice part about it is our e-commerce and our online absolutely took off. Yeah. So we had a good online setup, and that's what's actually hurting GNC right now. GNC's online setup and their kind of e-commerce side has been terrible, and that's why they're going under, or they did go under. Yeah. Or they had filed for bankruptcy. So we have a really good online platform, So that, and it wasn't popular before COVID. Like, we get the odd online order, but again, we're brick and mortar, we're retail. People want to come in person and talk to us and see what you actually have product wise. So yeah, as much as the market's moving towards Amazon and online ordering, like, there's still demand for brick and mortar locations, which people want to go in, see your product, talk to someone, and buy something in person. There's still always going to be a huge demand for that.
Talking about that online stuff, that's a good segue for your guys' online social media. It's always popping. Can you tell me a little bit about that? All the fun stuff you guys do in the store. It's great.
Social media, it all goes through this guy right here. That should be my title, as social media manager. We had, honestly, it started honestly like Cam. Cam's not with us anymore. He's doing his master's at Queen's. God love Cam. Cam was an amazing personality, and also he was a good friend of mine. So he was a great hire. So me and him would just kind of spitball ideas as far as like some of the stupid videos and stupid stuff you see. I like and dislike it. So my thing on social media,
there's a lot of crap out there.
What honestly sucks about it is that stupid posts get more interaction and not good information. If I take the time and type up a really good post on like isolate protein or omegas or something like that, it's a big one of them I did the other day, or like supplements for young athletes or just athletes in general. Those won't get half the likes, clicks, interaction that Alex Smith does, drop kicking a box onto the side of the road saying he's doing a next day delivery. Those will get over 100 likes, and your post on fish oils and omegas will get 20.
Yeah, I'm having the same problem.
Which is, anyways, so making something clear, concise, and then what catches people's eyes in marketing, I guess, it's marketing 101. It's how do you get someone's attention, or how do you get your product and your placement out there? So that's a constant battle I kind of have. But yeah, it's hopefully pump out good information, because my goal in this too, as much retail, make money, sell stuff, but it's also going to be educating people, and then bettering people's lives and health and wellness in the Annapolis Valley in our area. So that's the goal at the end of the day too. I'd like to continue to educate people, which is also why we got Acadia Sport Nutrition involved. We have athletics involved to some extent. So it's educating our athletes, it's educating people in the community, and then giving them those options as well. Beforehand, it was GNC and New Minus, or you're buying your stuff online, or you're driving to the city. So we've created a pretty good atmosphere in there of nice people. I have amazing staff and amazing staff members, and people have been there previously, like Cam, did an amazing job helping grow it too. So increasing, getting loyal customers. So we could go into that whole topic too.
50 or 100 loyal customers is great, way better than having like 1,000 or whatever people who are just watching and just going to be scrolling through.
Yeah, well, look at that one-way street in Wolfville this summer. Like, who are you catering to with that thing?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that made a lot of people pissed off. But you're catering to one or two people, or the people are coming down from Halifax once or twice during the summer, versus you're pissing off all your local residents and people who live and shop here, right? And you're just kind of accommodating the tourists. And I know they had a whole bunch of different reasons for it, but you're really catering to, I think, a small group of people. And you're hurting some businesses, especially the ones on the other side. And our numbers from the 2 weeks after it weren't awesome, but we did come off a big sale. So, anyways, a lot taken with that too. But yeah, we want to create loyalty with people. I want to see Josh Nolan every week come to the store. Josh coming in and yeah, exactly. I want to see those guys. I want to see repeat customers are your best one. You need to acquire new customers. We have to find ways to acquire new customers, expand out to the valley, like go into different parts. I'm probably going to travel down to Yarmouth here at some point because now again, back on the e-commerce side and our online side, we have the distance all the way from Windsor down to Yarmouth.
I have some pizza recommendations for you.
Yeah. So we went to Yarmouth last year for a teachers conference. And we decided we were going to go to all the pizza places in Yarmouth, and we got free pizza at every single one. So I would recommend going to get pizza in Yarmouth.
So if you're Acadia swimming or teaching, you get free pizza?
You just show up and they just give it to you.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a really, really fun day.
It was something. Yeah.
Rather Yarmouth, there's free pizza. Okay, good. Yeah. Good to know.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to make a trip there in probably a week or two.
Nice.
And try to reach out to some people, gyms, and just like show what our online service. There was a GNC in Yarmouth too, in the Yarmouth Mall, and that closed as well because of COVID. They closed at some point. I think they're one of the COVID locations, or bankruptcy and COVID.
Yeah. The one near me in Georgetown closed down at the start of COVID too.
Yeah, it's pretty much all your corporate stores. Your corporate stores shut down, but your franchise stores, I think, are still operating. Yeah, cool.
So
they have different terms.
What's kind of the expansion process beyond that for your location?
The expansion, we've talked about putting a second location in possibly Greenwood. So our territory is what we kind of signed on when we got the franchise was, or our location was, we have from Windsor to, I think Digby is our territory that we have. So like no one else can come in and compete with us. So say the Halifax is all owned by the same guy, but I don't think like we could come into that location and put a Subman King in there. It would have to be on the guy who already runs all the Halifax locations, the 4 Halifax locations. So we can put another one out all the way to Digby, but like there's territories that are open, such as like Yarmouth, Amherst, different parts of Cape Breton. Like I think Port Hawkesbury is one too. That's kind of like it could work. So when you're looking at that too, or looking at putting in a second location, you have to, again, research the population, look what kind of median incomes are, population, median income, disposable income, kind of look at some of those numbers off of like just say Census Canada, and then what kind of demand you have, and then look at, okay, like what the facilities there. So every Subman King you go to, and you're an Ottawa guy, you look at, say, the one in Train Yards, the one in Barrhaven, the one in Herongate, what are they all attached to? Like what's next door to them?
Yeah, it's the gym's next door.
The gym next door. So that's why we were able to get the location we were, because we got Acadia literally down the street. So we have a fitness center and complex within a certain radius is how they operate too. But every other kind of franchise location you look at across Canada, and even like Popeye's Lower Sackville, if you guys have ever seen that one, it's next to a 24-hour Good Life. It's just an absolute gold mine location. Lower Sackville, Popeye's Lower Sackville is next to a 24-hour Good Life, and it's a massive, massive Good Life. So again, that's an absolute gold mine of a spot. So that's what we kind of look at too. I think Greenwood is going to be would be a second location for expansion, but we still need to expand what we're doing. And obviously COVID has slowed down some things, I think, some growth, but we've done close to on par to what we were doing last year and last summer. So that's been really positive throughout COVID. Yeah, we've been pretty much on par last year, which I'm pretty happy about. So you still need to acquire new customers, still increase sales, and yeah, we still got to find ways to grow it internally too, and expand and reach out to other areas of the valley, which I need to continue to do.
Nice. Let's talk coaching. So you're coaching at APT now. You're doing a little bit of indie stuff with the Acadia Axemen right now. Coached at Mount A. What else?
The coaching life. I've been
Yeah.
just an absolute suitcase past couple of years. So it started with APT back in 2015. I interned for a semester. So this was when strength conditioning had Josh Krause, James Young, Ellie, and then maybe like 3 or 4 other people just as interns, and they just come in during APT and varsity when you can make it. And Elliot was running everything all day, all varsity sessions. And anyways, Elliot was absolute machine, and running everything. And James, I think James Young, so James is now, he's back in New Zealand, I think. He's doing something with the All Blacks, and he's finishing his PhD. One of the most amazing individuals I've ever met. Probably the best individual and best coach I've ever met. I think he's going to end up coaching, getting a big strength conditioning job, or he's going to teach, I think is what's going to happen. He'd be an amazing teacher. He's an amazing human. So he just talked to me one day because it's done football. So it's pretty much transitioning to become a NARP. Acadia football had asked me about coaching in the off season or coach up in the spring. So I would go out and volunteer based, and hey, we're getting lots of registrations right now, guys.
Nice. Let's go.
Great. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, that's the beat there. So James, just told me like, hey, you're not doing anything here second semester. You're just volunteering a little bit. And or I worked with Smile quite a bit as well. I do a few days with Smile and a little bit with the food bank. I was like, yeah, I coach football and then try out to APT or come in and coach with James. So I started doing some of our high school and middle school sessions and developed a passion for it. I hadn't done anything strength conditioning before in my life other than just being coached by Elliot and being in a really, really good strength conditioning program when I played. So knew a little bit about it and being in the Ken program too, but I didn't take any courses towards like fitness programming, training methods. I didn't take any of those courses. I thought I was going to probably teach or coach when I was coming out of kinesiology. So I wanted to be a teacher and I wanted to tie that into coaching. So I took most of my courses with Roxanne, working with adaptive physical activity, children special needs. I took all of hers and really enjoyed it and loved Roxanne. And I was also doing a little bit of respite work at the same time too, and working with the Smile program. So I thought those things all kind of tied in really well into teaching. So that's kind of where I dove into coaching, or say strength conditioning. That's when I really dove into strength conditioning. Always had a passion for coaching, especially football, and just kind of did it on the side, do some running back indie, do a little bit of offensive stuff. So, and anytime I could, especially that year with Acadia football. So yeah, that's where it kind of took off. And then once I moved to Ottawa, I picked up pretty much a fitness instructor training job at a place called Elite Performance Academy in the west end of Ottawa in Canada, and started working there and got to see a different system, did a little bit of personal training. I had some senior clients. I had some younger ones. So I was training people probably from 13 years old all the way up to about 68, I think was my oldest client. And then just learning in that environment. So it wasn't the same structure as Acadia, and we can dive into this whole piece later. But yeah, it was way different than Acadia, and I learned a lot and got a lot of work while I was in school. So I just kind of rolled with strength conditioning just because it was more so a hobby. It was a hobby. It was fun. It was another aspect of coaching that I got to do. So kind of stuck with it, and it keeps on popping up jobs for me. So I did that in Ottawa for about 2.5 years, and then came back here, took Acadia offered me to work with the running backs, so paid coaching position in 2017, and then while I was in school. So that was a fun year as well. So we got to win the Loney Bowl on a Tuesday night, and then I got pounded by Western 81-3 in the UTEC Bowl. So we can dive into all that stuff later. But anyways, and then the following year I got offered a job from Coach Pete Frazier, who used to work at Acadia for probably 10 years at least. 10 years, and he's a D-line. He did a little bit of defensive. He was a D-line coach, special teams coordinator for a bit. He got a job in Windsor with the University of Windsor, and then came back and got the head coaching job at Mount A. So I got offered to kind of be their co-offensive coordinator, do co-special teams, and then run their strength and conditioning as well for football. And then I started working with some other teams in there as well. So again, got to see a different perspective there, which was really fun. And then here we go. once I finished at Mount A, I show up in Acadia, and hey, there's a job position with Elliot. So if you guys can learn anything from this, and then I started working with basketball and did APT, and basketball's APT, and who else in there? Rugby. So, and then COVID happened, and more APT, and here we are. So if you guys can learn anything from this, as I was saying, it's about who you know. I keep on getting jobs from Elliot Richardson, Coach Pete Frazier, Acadia people. I keep on getting jobs from kind of the Acadia circle. So I've been very fortunate that way. But it's who you know, especially in the coaching world.
Networking.
So, pardon?
Networking, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's
people. If you look at coaching staffs, whether it's in football, but coaching staffs, even Acadia, but you can look at smaller, bigger schools as well, or even NCAA programs. It's always someone hiring someone from like a previous staff. And it's who you know. It's like people are getting jobs based on who they know and like who's worked for who or who's coached with who before. Like it's just a huge circle that keeps on going. People hiring from outside that circle is a little more rare. It does happen. Like Coach Pete getting a head coaching job at say Mount A. It's like someone's hiring him, and yeah, there's no connection there. And then he starts bringing in Acadia people. So it was myself, Kyle Graves, who I played with at Acadia, and then it was James Price, who also played at Acadia. So he brought in 3 Acadia guys, and then, well, now we're all gone. But yeah, he was just hiring Acadia guys and people he knew.
Yeah, well, I think about how many strength coaches in the AUS are Acadia guys. It's like every single school.
Oh, exactly.
That happens because of that. Yeah.
Yep. And it's Ellie doing it in Greenwood too. He's just hiring people he knows. Tommy Daniels is out there. Alyssa Platt's out there. So it's a big circle of who you know and who you've coached with and who you like, right? That's why you create some good relationships there, and you just some of these opportunities will come up. But yeah, it's your circle and who you know.
very cool. Can you talk about some of your responsibilities here at Acadia now with APT there and football?
Sure. Talk a bit about the transition of losing the man himself, Elliot.
Losing Elliot.
Yeah.
Guys, it's been pretty smooth, I think. Of course, we're catching some hiccups on the way, but my role and title is mainly APT or APT coordinator, and then it's help assist and support our senior interns, our internship group. So that's what my role and responsibility is. Mainly, the focus is APT, and then make sure that interns were staying on course and they're provided support as much as they can, or as much as we can, with that. So that's pretty much my role and title. I've definitely taken on more emails, more of an admin role with Elliot gone. As you can hear my email beeping every few minutes here, it's coming up. So it's taking on a lot more of an admin role with the APT, the site, or the email for sure is definitely picked up. Excuse me. So that's it's definitely more of an admin role, less of a coaching role. So at APT, pretty much I'm floating. I have a role and responsibility, but it's guys like Josh and Ethan and Madison and Jesse, and then our interns that are making that place go around and doing an awesome job and getting really good experience, I think, too. So yeah, that's where we're at on APT, those responsibilities, and what the goal is there. It's get registrations, and that thing is creating some revenues, creating a revenue stream for the university. So that thing needs to be good and needs to roll and operate, as that's created a job for me to work down there in strength conditioning, and it has in the past had some jobs there, and created jobs and for myself and Rochelle per se as well. And the assistants before us, such as Ali and Ian and Josh Kraus too. So yeah, that's pretty much the role and title there with APT. You guys mentioned football too. Football, guys, I'm just going out to practice when I'm free and can get out there, because I still I love coaching. I love sports Pacifica. I love football. And doing some indie work and skill work. I love doing that stuff. So I just kind of go out there where I can. Yeah. Usually the odd Fridays when I'm getting out there. So no real responsibility there. Just show up and do some skill
fun,
guys. Yeah, have some fun and try to help them out, and try to help them out, and maybe learn a little bit myself there too. See how they operate and some of their systems and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much my role and title. What was the second part of that question?
I think that was both of it, APT and the more the coaching football kind of thing.
Yeah,
both of it.
Yeah, I would say those are both roles.
Yeah, you're obviously super knowledgeable, a good guy. Can you talk a little bit about your own training, like staying active? Like, what are you doing to be physically fit?
Honestly, guys, I do it what's called intuitive training, where I show up and how do I feel today. Honestly, my training myself is pretty. I'll honestly, I go in and do what I feel. But I also play with different ideas, try to learn something. So yeah, my own training, it's right now with this job, it's definitely, it's hit and miss when I can get in and not, um, but I think looking the job that I do, and especially Supplement King in here, you got to look the part. You definitely have to look the part and be in there and be training. So I try to get in about 3 or 4 times a week. The upstairs gym has been phenomenal. I love that system now.
Yeah.
Just go in, show up. You got 45 minutes, which is perfect for me. Get in, get out. So yeah, mostly mine. I like doing a lot of power work, a lot of power sprint work. Those are 2 of my passions. I love sprinting. I love reading about probably Altus and Simple Faster are 2 of my favorite websites out there for speed work and speed training. I love sprinting. So on my own training, yeah, I want to do a little bit of speed work, sprint work, and then just be a good athlete myself. I want to be able to jump, throw, want to be able to do some heavy hinges, some heavy pulls, and then I love Olympic lifting. So sprinkling that into my training as well. I love doing power work. I love doing speed work. But also know the importance of doing some strength work as well. So it's pretty much, yeah, play with kind of the powerlifting, the 3 there. I want to bench a lot, want to clean or squat a lot, and I want to deadlift a lot. So playing with those and trying to periodize it in my training and weight, but it's also too, like I'm much more, I guess, conscious of my body and kind of my health. Like, whereas today or some days, you know what, I'm not going to benefit a lot from training. So I know when, like, I'm having a low week right now because I went out drinking last night, and yeah, I'm probably not going to train till Tuesday. So I think definitely as I've gotten older, I'm no longer training through pain. I know my body a lot better since also after playing football. Once you kind of finish playing football, I found after a year, yeah, you stop getting sore, and some of your aches and pains and some of those injuries start to go away a little bit. So that was good. My last year playing football in Ottawa, junior football, I played a year of junior in Ottawa. I popped my shoulder out in practice, so that bugged me for probably close to 6 months, a year afterwards. So once that kind of healed up and some of my aches and pains went away, I found my training greatly improved. That I wasn't going into lifts sore or injured, because that was the biggest problem when I was at Acadia. Yeah, that was the biggest problem when I was at Acadia. I was always sore, always really sore. So training through pain and soreness is sometimes difficult. I was a regular student, so I would go out and drink on weekends and not take my recovery all that serious all the time. So definitely, as I've gotten older and as I've learned more, yeah, you value those things a lot more and take them seriously.
Yeah, load management, especially with the football guys, especially in season, is quite the task.
100%, yeah. 100%. So yeah, me and Matt have been talking about that too. It's when we get in our sport seasons, how to monitor some of those things and how to gauge it if we're in the gym, or just some basic measurements we can look at. So that's a constant battle and thing we need to continue to learn upon and make sure that you can be on the court and put out your best product on the court. Sport specific first. Sport comes first, lifting second. Yeah, we got to keep people healthy and we got to keep them on the field. Yeah, so how do we do that?
Absolutely.
Back on your own training, you own Supplement King. You like working out. What supplements are you taking yourself?
I take Diesel protein powder, Diesel isolate, take fish oil, multivitamin. Really those 3. Fish oil, multi-protein. We'll mix in a pre-workout if I need to. I'll high-low my caffeine intake. Some weeks really high, so I'm kind of on a detox from that right now. Trying that for a couple weeks, just drinking a cup of coffee in the morning. Some mornings, that's about it. Yeah, you can get kind of burned out and fried out, and I found it can affect my sleep sometimes. So yeah, those are pretty much the 3 I stick to. 3 of them I'm always sticking to. Those are your essentials, I find. You have a good protein powder, fish oil, DHA, and a multivitamin. I think are your 3 big ones. Take a greens as well. Greens and collagen as well. Sorry. Greens and collagen as well. If you're not collagen, I found I've really liked how I feel and how quickly I'm recovering. Anyways, there's some great stuff behind collagen, like the behind hair, skin, and nails, and also acute injuries. So anyways, done some reading on that, and I do like collagen, and I do like some of the research backing collagen as well. And then a greens powder if I'm not getting in, say, my recommended amount of greens per day. Yeah, those are a few.
We're under the 7-minute warning now, so we have to do some speed rounds. Yeah, whatever you guys want to talk. Josh,
what topic do we want to dive into? One that we kind of touched on earlier. We can go into more so into coaching.
Let's talk about the Halifax CFL team. I want to hear more about your opinion on that.
Okay, so because I lived in Ottawa too, let's just talk about that. The economics of football.
Yeah,
football economics 101. I think it's just absolutely fascinating in this country, and then also in, like, say, the NCAA model. So I think there's a huge demand for football here and football in this province and what it can do development-wise too. So if we look at what happened in Ottawa with the Red Blacks, as soon as they got a team there,
they sell out every single game.
Pardon?
They sell out every single game.
Yep. They've sold out just about, I think last year they didn't sell out some games.
But
they're pretty brutal. Yeah. But they're in their first, say, 3 or 4 years, they sold out every game. And they've made that place, Lansdowne, it's absolutely magnificent, absolutely beautiful. Like, that place is just an absolute party and a great place to watch a football game. It's so much fun what they've created that thing into, or turned that thing into. It's no longer about, and this was a big thing in sport business management as well, of like how to get people in seats, or kind of the model they're taking, which the Red Blacks, they have all those open areas, all those open where you can go sit at a patio, mingle with people. Like, that's what some of these games are turning into. They're more so turning into just fun events, which for me, I would do the same thing. Go out and drink my face off and party and mingle with your friends there in the stands, and there's a football game going on. But there was a good product on the field there too. So number one of getting people in seats is your number one. I think 70% of it, you need to have a good on-field product. Second to that, it's about atmosphere and having fun at the game. That's entertainment. But number one, you have to have a good on-field product that people will come watch. You have a winning team, and they're the hot ticket in town, right? Let's talk about the Senators too. It's the same thing with the Sens. Sens aren't winning. It's pretty brutal in there, and they're the lowest tickets in the country. They actually are. Yeah, you can get $40, $50 a seat and sit decently in that rink, which is the cheapest in Canada. Which is unbelievable, that whole setup. So, anyways, I think Halifax, if they did it correctly, and I think they will, they're going to make a good stadium. It's going to be community-based as well, which I think will help it. But number one thing that went on in Ottawa too, or one of the big things, is it grew football. So you got more registrations. The NCAFA, so the nation's capital football, they grew registrations by some stupid extent. So what it did for the town and for that city, Lansdowne just absolutely blew up, or it's absolutely beautiful there in the glebe now, just business-wise, economically, it's awesome there now. And we got more, and football grew in the city. So that's what I want to see here. I think Shannon Park will be an awesome place, and they'll blow that place up, and it will look great, and there'll be lots of shops, and business will thrive down there. But I also want it to grow the game of football. There's going to be more jobs coming out of that. There's going to be 8 to 10 coaching jobs come out of it with they're probably going to hire some guys from the local universities too. Like, there's going to be a ton of football jobs. There's going to be more. They're going to have a roster of 50. It's going to create more opportunity for guys coming out of university here too. So one thing with the CFL is, like, if you're in Atlantic, Canada, you're at a disadvantage because there's no teams here. Whereas when I lived in Ontario, I got opportunities just by living in Ottawa. Okay, I could long snap a little bit. Like, Hamilton took me down on a train, paid for my train ticket, and paid for me to stay in a hotel. And I was a good average to good football player. I'm 5'10", 200 pounds, and can run not that fast. And I got opportunities. So that's saying something. So guys here, they'll get more opportunities just by being local. One thing Ottawa has done well too is signing local guys. So do you know how many local guys, like Ottawa guys, are on that roster always? There's at least 5.
A lot, yeah.
Sinopoli, Galanders, my buddy Connor Williams. Those are just a few.
Sinopoli's my favorite player.
Sinopoli is a hell of a player, yeah.
Yeah.
We almost played them. McMaster, he's some of the best university football film I've ever seen. Of like passing and running the ball. He's just an incredible athlete. He was playing quarterback at University of Ottawa. Anyways, we could dive into that. But anyways, in 2011 we played McMaster in the UTEC Bowl, and McMaster beat Ottawa in the Yates Cup final. and they were pretty good. And then they ended up beating Laval in probably the best college football game I've ever seen. So 2011 VNA Cup, watch that on YouTube if you're bored and want to watch some really good football, really good football game. So they beat us. Anyways, on the Halifax team. Anyway, I think that would grow football here big time. It would create more jobs for our coaches, university athletes, guys coming out, say, per se of Acadia, like Tommy Grant. If there was a team here, Tommy would definitely get signed. He's a Halifax guy, just that, for instance.
Yeah.
I think what that will do to this town and region, it'll blow football up here.
Yeah.
We'll get
hate to cut you off, Zach, but we're about to run out of time. What do you want to plug? So
guys, come in, talk to us. We're here to fuel your goals. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
We're going to have you again. This is a great time. We need to talk more. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, definitely hit up Supplement King Wolfville. They've got a really knowledgeable staff and a lot of really great products as well.
Thanks for coming on. Like, comment, subscribe, guys. Watch the whole thing. Share with your friends, and peace.